The sky above Earth was never meant to burn, but tonight it did. The stars vanished behind a red storm of fire as unknown ships entered the atmosphere. At first, people thought it was a meteor shower. Then the power grids failed, and satellites fell like dying stars. In every capital city, alarms screamed, and the world realized the truth. Someone was attacking. In orbit, the International Defense Network went dark. Only one ship stayed online, the UNS Valor. Commander Aaron Hale stood on the command bridge, watching hundreds of alien ships move like shadows across the black sky. They were sharp silver crafts shaped like blades glowing with red energy lines. The computers tried to read their signals, but failed every time. No known language, no code, no warning. Are they broadcasting anything? Aaron asked. Nothing, sir, replied his communications officer. No signal, no attempt to talk. Aaron looked at the live feed of Earth below. Dozens of cities burned. The alien ships were not targeting armies or ships. They were burning population centers. Then a single voice came through the speakers, cold and distant. It was mechanical and clear. This planet is under judgment by the VAR Dominion. All resistance will be removed. That was the first and only message. The alien fleet began its full attack. Thousands of plasma beams rained through the atmosphere. Over Asia and Europe, the night sky looked like sunrise. In the Pacific Ocean, whole fleets disappeared in seconds. The Valor was hit by a blast that shook the hull, but it kept fighting. Aaron gave the order to fire all railguns. The rounds streaked through space, leaving silver trails. A few hit the alien ships and tore holes through their armor. For a moment it looked like they could win, but then more ships arrived. Hundreds more. The sensors showed something terrifying. The enemy ships were opening portals behind them. Reinforcements were arriving faster than any human fleet could respond. The Valor's crew looked at Aaron, waiting for orders. Sir, should we retreat? His first officer asked. Aaron's eyes were locked on the burning world below. No. If we run now, there will be no Earth left to save. He turned to the communications console. Broadcast on all channels, he said. I want the whole planet to hear this. The officer nodded. Live in 5 seconds, sir. Aaron stood straight. The lights on the bridge flickered from the fire outside. He spoke with calm and strength. This is Commander Aaron Hale of the United Earth Fleet. To every human still fighting or hiding, do not surrender. We are the children of Earth, and we do not kneel to tyrants. If they want our world, they will pay for every inch of it. The transmission spread across every radio and screen that still worked. Soldiers on the ground heard it in their helmets. Refugees in bunkers heard it through static. For the first time that night, they felt something other than fear. They felt anger. The Valor moved into the thick of battle. Its railguns fired non-stop. Its missile bays emptied in minutes. Every blast that hit the alien ships lit up the dark sky like lightning. Aaron's crew cheered as one enemy ship exploded, but there were too many. The enemy surrounded them. A plasma beam cut across the hull. The lights went out. The ship began to lose power. Aaron grabbed onto a railing as the deck tilted. The sound of tearing metal filled the air. Fires erupted on the lower decks. Sir, we've lost engines 1 through 4, shouted the engineer. Divert power to the forward shields, Aaron ordered. We're not done yet. The shields flickered and held for a moment longer. The crew could see Earth burning below them. It was a sight no one would ever forget. Then a strange signal appeared on the radar. It came from deep space outside the solar system. The computers could not decode it, but Aaron recognized it as human in origin. It was a distress beacon from an old colony ship lost decades ago. Somehow, it had reactivated. The AI assistant on the Valor picked up the signal and amplified it automatically. A pulse of light shot out from the ship into the dark void of space. Nobody knew it then, but that signal would change the fate of the galaxy. The next blast hit the Valor's main reactor. The bridge shook violently. Crew members were thrown from their seats. Aaron pulled himself up using the console. Smoke filled the air. He saw his officers lying injured. Get to the escape pods, he shouted. The first officer shook his head. Sir, the pods are gone. Aaron looked out the window one last time. The sky was full of fire and wreckage. Earth below looked like a dying ember. He took a deep breath and smiled sadly. "Then we make our stand," the remaining crew nodded. They fired everything they had left. Missiles streaked out in every direction. Alien ships exploded one by one, but there were still too many. The Valor's reactor overloaded. A white flash filled space, and the ship vanished in a storm of light. The explosion was so bright it could be seen from the surface of Earth. For a moment, the alien assault paused. On the ground, survivors looked up and saw the sky glowing. They whispered the name of the ship as if it were a prayer. The Valor. In the command center deep under New Geneva, military officers received the final transmission from Arin's ship. It was a short message sent seconds before the explosion. Only 3 words: "We are awake." The message spread to every surviving human base across the system. It was not a cry of pain. It was a promise. Humanity had been struck down, but not broken. As the alien fleet regrouped in orbit, a silent pulse continued to travel through deep space. It reached the edge of the solar system and kept going beyond the known maps. Somewhere in the dark, a signal was received. A long-forgotten satellite turned its sensors toward Earth. Its systems came alive for the first time in 100 years. Its old identification tag blinked in green letters. Project Revenant. Active. The war for survival had just begun. 2 years had passed since the sky burned over Earth. The surface was quiet now, too quiet. Half the planet lay in ruins. Cities were silent skeletons made of metal and ash. The oceans carried the wrecks of warships that once protected the world. Humanity had lost its home, but not its will. Far away, in the shadow of Saturn's rings, a hidden station floated among the asteroids. It had no official name, no signal, and no lights visible from space. Its name inside secret records was Haven 9. Here, what was left of humanity gathered in silence, rebuilding for the war to come. Captain Nova Raines walked through the metal corridors of the station. She was tall, with sharp eyes and a calm face that hid years of pain. She had survived the fall of Earth and carried one mission in her heart: rebuild the fleet and make the enemy pay. The hangar was full of noise and sparks. Engineers worked on a half-finished warship. Its black hull reflected the light of Saturn like glass. This ship was unlike anything humans had ever built. Its armor was grown from alien metal, its engines powered by quantum fusion. On the side of the hull, one name was painted in white: Revenant Nova, stopped beside Chief Engineer Malik. He was covered in grease and sweat, but smiled when he saw her. "It's almost ready, Captain," he said. "But we still don't understand half the alien systems." "We don't need to understand," Nova replied. "We only need it to work." For months, they had been rebuilding old ships and merging them with stolen alien tech. The humans called it the Revenant program. Every new ship was a ghost reborn from the ashes of Earth. Inside the command center, Admiral Wren stood before a group of survivors. Holographic maps showed the positions of secret colonies scattered across the asteroid belt. He spoke with a low, steady voice. "The Var Dominion believes we are finished. They have moved their fleets deeper into the core worlds. That is our chance. We rebuild quietly. We strike when they least expect it." A young officer raised his hand. "Admiral, what about the signal sent by Commander Aaron Hale's ship?" "Project Revenant was activated, but we never found its source." Wren looked at him for a moment. "We keep searching. If Commander Hale's message reached someone, maybe we are not alone." Outside the station, drones moved between asteroids carrying parts and supplies. Life was returning, slowly and painfully. Children were born in metal halls. Farmers grew food in domes under artificial light. Humanity had turned survival into science. One night, Captain Nova sat alone in her cabin, staring at a hologram of Earth before the war. She remembered the last broadcast of Aaron Hale, his voice full of fire. Those words had kept her alive through the darkest nights. Suddenly, her console beeped. An encrypted signal was detected near the outer ring of Saturn. The code was ancient, older than the war, and written in Earth's pre-war military language. Nova's heart raced. She opened the message. It contained a voice broken by static but still human. "This is Aaron Hale. To any surviving fleet, do not give up. We're coming home." Nova stood up. "Aaron Hale? That's impossible." He was declared dead. She ran to the command deck. The officers played the recording again. The voice was real. The signature matched perfectly. It came from a location near the edge of the solar system. Admiral Wren listened in silence. His hands were shaking slightly. "If he's alive," he said, "then maybe Project Revenant is more than a myth." Before anyone could celebrate, the alarms went off. A radar officer shouted, "Multiple unknown contacts approaching from Vector 7. Small but fast. Signature matches VAR scouts." The bridge lights turned red. Nova took command instantly. "Battle stations. Lock all outer doors. Prepare to cloak the station." The engineers shut down all external lights. Haven 9 disappeared into the darkness of space. The enemy ships entered the area, searching like hungry predators. The red lights scanned the asteroids one by one. Inside the silent station, nobody moved. Even breathing felt loud. The sound of the alien engines echoed through the void. One wrong signal and the humans would be found. The radar officer whispered, "They are scanning the debris field." "We can't hide for long," Nova thought fast. "We have one choice. If they find us, they will call the main fleet." "We can't let that happen." Wren turned to her. "You're suggesting we attack first?" "Yes," she said. "If we strike now, we destroy their scouts before they send a signal. It's risky, but it's the only way." Wren stared at her for a long moment. Then he nodded. "Do it." The station came to life. The Revenant's engines glowed blue. Missiles slid into launch bays. Plasma cannons charged silently. The entire fleet of Haven 9, just 12 ships, prepared to face the alien scouts. Nova gave the final order. "Fire on my mark." The alien ships moved closer, unaware of the trap. At the perfect moment, Nova shouted, "Now!" The silence of space shattered. Human missiles flew like lightning. The first alien ship exploded instantly. The others turned to fight, but the Revenant was faster. Its railguns tore through enemy armor. The humans fought with precision, anger, and unity. Within minutes, all VAR scouts were destroyed. The battle was small but historic. It was humanity's first victory since the fall of Earth. Inside the command deck, the crew cheered. Nova allowed herself a small smile. "Send a message," she said. "Tell every colony that we are still here. Tell them humanity just fought back." Admiral Wren looked at the wreckage drifting through space. "The VAR will know we're alive," he said quietly. "They'll come for us." Nova turned toward him. "Let them come. We've waited 2 years for this." As the wreckage floated among the asteroids, the damaged alien beacon suddenly flickered with red light. A faint transmission escaped into deep space before anyone noticed. Far beyond the edge of the solar system, deep within VAR territory, a warlord received the signal. His eyes glowed cold and blue as he read the message. "Human survivors detected. Prepare the cleansing fleet." The silence after victory became the calm before the storm. Humanity had risen from the ashes, but now the full fury of the Dominion was coming for them. The real war was about to begin. The quiet between the asteroids did not last long. The VAR Dominion had found traces of humanity's secret base, and their scouts never returned. Now the humans knew that silence meant danger, not safety. 3 weeks after the battle near Saturn, Captain Nova Raines stood inside the control room of the new warship Revenant One. Outside her window floated the massive shadow of Saturn, golden rings shining like a silent crown. Below, the UED fleet gathered. 12 ships built from pain, hope, and stolen alien metal. The engineers called them ghosts. The soldiers called them revenge. Admiral Wren appeared on the main screen. His old face looked calm, but his eyes were sharp. "The VAR are coming," he said. "A scout fleet of 15 ships. They are entering the Titan region. This is our moment. If we strike first, the galaxy will know that humanity is back." Nova nodded. "Then let's show them what we've learned." The fleet prepared in silence. Every crew member knew what was at stake. They were not just fighting for victory. They were fighting to prove that Earth still had warriors left. The plan was simple. The humans would hide inside the shadow of Titan's moon and wait. The moment the warships entered range, they would unleash everything. Nova stood at the front of the bridge, eyes locked on the tactical screen. Her heart was steady. She had seen the fall of Earth. She had seen cities vanish in fire. Now she would return that fire. Signal all ships, she said. We fight as one. Outside, the black space near Titan began to shift. One by one, alien ships appeared from their portals. Their hulls glowed red like molten metal. The VAR fleet moved slowly, scanning for life. They believed the humans were weak and scattered. They were wrong. From the shadow of the moon, the Revenant fleet activated its stealth systems. The hulls shimmered and vanished into darkness. The human ships became invisible ghosts. The enemy did not know they were already surrounded. Nova waited for the right moment. Her crew held their breath. The alien ships spread out, unaware of the trap. Targets locked, said the weapons officer. Nova raised her hand. Fire. In one instant, the silence of space broke apart. Human missiles flew like silver streaks. Railgun slugs cut through the dark. Plasma cannons roared to life. The first VAR cruiser exploded in a burst of blue fire. The others turned too late. The battle began. Alien beams flashed through the darkness, hitting the asteroids. Explosions painted the rings of Saturn with firelight. The humans moved fast, using the rocks for cover, striking from every angle. The Revenant's armor absorbed the first hits and kept fighting. Enemy ship disabled, shouted the gunner. They're breaking formation. Good, Nova said. Keep pressure on them. The VAR was strong, but unprepared for human tactics. They fought in perfect lines, predictable and rigid. The humans were chaotic, using decoys, flanking maneuvers and fake distress signals to confuse them. One of the smaller ships, the UED Horizon, was hit badly. Flames burst from its engines. Nova saw the crew's distress signal flashing. Without thinking, she gave a risky order. Move Revenant between the horizon and the enemy. Cover them, the crew obeyed. The Revenant turned sharply, taking the full hit of a plasma beam. The hull shook but held. Nova gritted her teeth. Return fire. Full power. The main cannon fired. The blast tore straight through the alien ship. It split in half and vanished into a glowing cloud. Inside the Revenant's bridge, the crew cheered, but Nova stayed focused. She knew this was just the beginning. Admiral Wren's voice came through the radio. Reinforcements detected. 6 more VAR ships entering from the outer ring. Nova clenched her jaw. Then we finished the first wave fast. She opened the communication to all human ships. This is Captain Nova Rains. You remember Earth. You remember the fire. Today, we give that fire back. No fear, no retreat. For humanity, the fleet responded with one voice. For humanity. The final minutes of battle were pure chaos. Missiles screamed through space. Laser fire cut across the black sky. The humans fought with everything they had. When the dust cleared, the Titan ring was full of wreckage, half alien, half human, spinning silently around the moon. Only 7 human ships remained intact, but they had destroyed the entire VAR scout fleet. For the first time since the fall, humanity had won a real space battle. The radio was filled with cheers and laughter. Some cried openly. Even Admiral Wren allowed a small smile. History will remember this day, he said. Humanity just struck back. Nova stood at the window, looking at the battlefield. The wrecks floated slowly, pieces of fire drifting among the stars. She felt pride but also unease. Something wasn't right. The radar officer spoke suddenly. Captain, I'm picking up a strange signal from one of the destroyed VAR ships. It's not a distress beacon. It's something else. Nova frowned. Put it on screen. The signal played. A hologram appeared, flickering and broken. It showed an alien command bridge and a tall figure with silver skin and glowing eyes. Its voice was deep and filled with anger. You think your victory matters. You awaken something older than us all. The Dominion was not the first. You were warned. The message ended. Silence filled the bridge. The crew looked confused and afraid. What does that mean? The communications officer asked. Nova turned away from the screen. It means this war is bigger than we thought. Hours later, as the human fleet gathered their wounded and repaired their ships, a damaged alien data core was recovered from the wreckage. Inside it was a file written in an ancient alien code. The AI on the Revenant translated a single sentence. Primary threat, humanity. Reason, activation of the Erebus signal. Nova stared at the words for a long time. Erebus, she whispered. What is that? No one on the bridge answered, but somewhere far beyond the stars, deep inside the ruins of a forgotten world, a dormant machine pulsed once, faint and slow, as if it had heard its name. The galaxy was about to remember why it once feared the humans. The wreckage from the Battle of Titan's shadow floated quietly in space. Human ships moved between the debris, collecting data and survivors. The cost had been heavy, but the victory had given humanity hope again. For the first time since Earth's fall, they had struck back and lived to tell the tale. Inside the command deck of the Revenant, Captain Nova Raines studied the data core recovered from a destroyed VAR cruiser. The AI had spent days decoding it line by line. What it revealed was more than strange. It was terrifying. The file mentioned an ancient weapon called Erebus, and it listed humanity as a primary threat. No one on the crew knew what Erebus was, but the word felt old, dangerous, and forbidden. Nova stood before the holographic map of the solar system. Whatever Erebus is, she said quietly, the VAR are afraid of it. That means it's something powerful. Admiral Wren appeared on the main screen from Haven 9 station. His expression was grim. We have another lead, he said. The same data core contained star coordinates far beyond the outer rim. And there's something else, a human distress signal coming from that area. Nova's heart skipped a beat. A human signal. From where? Wren hesitated. From a ship we lost 2 years ago. The UNS Valor. The name hit everyone on the bridge like a thunderclap. The Valor had been the first ship destroyed when the aliens attacked Earth, the ship of Commander Aaron Hale. His last message had become legend. We are awake. Nova stared at the screen. He's alive. We don't know, said Wren. The signal is weak, but it's definitely his code. Without waiting for further orders, Nova made her decision. Prepare the fleet. We're going to find him. 3 days later, the Revenant and 2 escort ships entered the outer rim of the galaxy. The region was dark and unstable, filled with broken moons and dead stations. It was known as Wreck Zone Omega, a graveyard of lost civilizations. As they moved deeper, strange energy readings appeared on the scanners. The crew felt uneasy. The space around them seemed to hum with life. Captain, said the sensor officer, the signal is coming from that asteroid field ahead. They entered the field slowly. Huge chunks of metal drifted around them. Some were old alien ships, others were human, relics from wars no one remembered. Then they saw it. Floating near a shattered moon was the wreck of a familiar ship. The name on the side was half burned but still visible, UNS Valor. Gasps filled the bridge. Nova whispered, he really made it out here. The ship was broken in half, but the core section still had power. Small blue lights blinked faintly in the darkness, like a heartbeat. Nova led a small team aboard. They moved through the dark corridors, flashlights cutting through the dust. The walls were scarred from battle, and the silence was heavy. Then they found something impossible. Inside the medbay, sealed behind a frozen glass pod, was Commander Aaron Hale, alive but in stasis. His body was covered in tubes and glowing wires. Strange alien symbols surrounded the chamber. It looked like he had been kept alive by technology that wasn't human. Malik, the engineer, examined the pod. This isn't our tech, he said softly. It's VAR. They must have captured him. Nova touched the glass. Open it, the pod hissed and released cold mist. Aaron's eyes opened slowly. His breathing was weak but steady. For a moment he looked lost, then focused on Nova's face. Where am I? He whispered. You're safe now, Nova said. You're aboard the Revenant. You've been missing for 2 years. Aaron sat up slowly, still confused. 2 years. I saw Earth burn. We fought until... He paused, memories flooding back. The explosion. How did I survive? Nova shook her head. We think the VAR found you. They kept you alive for a reason. Aaron's face darkened. Yes, they wanted answers. They kept asking about Erebus. Everyone in the room froze. Nova leaned forward. You know what that is? Aaron nodded slowly. Not exactly. But I heard them talk. They said humanity wasn't supposed to find it, that the signal from Mars woke something sleeping beneath the surface, something ancient and forbidden. Mars, Nova repeated. Aaron continued, his voice low. Before the war, scientists were testing a deep-core scanner. They thought they found an old alien structure under the planet's crust. When they activated it, a signal was sent across the stars. The VAR called it the Erebus pulse. That's why they attacked first. They were afraid of what we had woken up. The crew stood in silence, realizing the truth. The war had not started because of human aggression. It had started because the VAR feared humanity might awaken a weapon powerful enough to destroy civilizations. Nova clenched her fists. They tried to wipe us out because they were afraid of what we might become. Aaron looked at her, his eyes filled with the same fire that had once inspired billions. Then they were right to fear us. Suddenly alarms blared through the Revenant. The radar picked up multiple contacts approaching fast. "Captain," shouted the officer, "VAR ships incoming." They must have tracked the signal from the Valor. Nova turned to Aaron. "Can you fight?" He smiled faintly. "Always." They rushed back to the bridge. The screen showed 10 VAR destroyers closing in. The Revenant's engines roared to life. Missiles loaded. Cannons charged. Aaron took the tactical seat beside Nova. "We don't have to destroy them all. Just hold them long enough to escape." The battle began. Bright plasma beams flashed across the black field. The Revenant's railguns tore through the first 2 ships. Explosions lit up the wreck zone. But the aliens were relentless. A beam hit the Valor's remains, shattering it completely. Aaron watched the last piece of his old ship vanish in fire. He said nothing, but his eyes burned with fury. "Jump engines ready!" Malik shouted. "Then let's go home," Nova ordered. The Revenant jumped into hyperspace just as another barrage hit the field. When the stars reappeared, they were safe. For now, in the command deck, silence filled the room. Aaron stood beside the window, looking at the red glow of Mars in the distance. "That's where it began," he said. "And that's where it ends." Nova turned to him. "Erebus?" Aaron nodded. "We can't run anymore. If that thing is real, we need to find it before the VAR do." Behind them, the AI's voice spoke softly. "Warning, energy signatures on Mars increasing. Something is waking." Everyone froze. Nova looked at Aaron. "What do we do?" Aaron's eyes were cold and steady. "We finish what they started." The bridge fell silent as the red planet glowed brighter on the screen. The war was no longer about survival. It was about the truth buried beneath Mars. The red planet of Mars turned slowly under the dark void. From orbit it looked calm, quiet, dead. But deep under its crust, something ancient was moving. Inside the Revenant, alarms echoed through the command deck. The ship's AI projected a live feed of the planet's surface. Strange glowing cracks spread across the Martian ground like veins of fire. Dust storms rose, twisting into red spirals that reached into the thin atmosphere. Captain Nova Raines watched the scene in silence. "What are we looking at?" she asked. The AI replied in a calm voice. "Massive energy surge. It matches no known human or alien technology. The source is beneath the Valles Marineris Canyon. Estimated depth, 50 kilometers. Commander Aaron Hale stood beside her, his expression unreadable. "That's where the Erebus signal came from," he said. "That's what started the war." The room fell silent as he continued. Before the invasion, the Mars Research Division detected strange readings from below the canyon. They thought it was an old alien ruin. But when they activated their scanners, something responded. The VAR must have detected the same pulse and decided to stop us before we could uncover it. Nova turned toward him. "You think Erebus is still there?" "I think it's waking up," Aaron said. Hours later, the Revenant entered Mars orbit. The crew prepared landing modules for descent. It was the first time a human had returned to the planet since the fall of Earth. The landing team included Nova, Aaron, Malik the engineer, and a small squad of soldiers. Their dropship cut through the thin atmosphere, shaking as it entered the red storm. Through the cockpit glass, Nova saw lightning flash across the canyon. Strange symbols glowed on the cliffs, ancient markings that pulsed with light. "What are those?" Malik asked. "Not human," Aaron said quietly. And not Var either. The dropship landed near the edge of a massive crater. The ground vibrated beneath their boots. Red dust swirled around them like smoke. They moved toward the canyon, their scanners picking up strange signals. The closer they got, the more their equipment began to fail. Static filled the radios, and the lights flickered. At the center of the canyon, they found it, a massive black structure half buried in stone. It was shaped like a pyramid, but twisted, as if built by something that didn't understand straight lines. Symbols glowed faintly across its surface, matching the one seen from orbit. Malik touched the surface gently. "It's not metal," he said. "It feels alive." Nova pointed at a large circular door at the base. "That's our way in." The door opened as they approached without any visible mechanism. A gust of hot air came out, carrying a low hum that felt more like a heartbeat. Inside, the walls were smooth and dark. Blue light flowed through them like liquid. The deeper they went, the stronger the hum became. It was as if the entire structure was breathing. Aaron stopped suddenly. "We're not alone," he said. From the shadows ahead, a figure stepped forward. It was tall, armored, and glowing faintly. Its face was hidden behind a black mask. Nova raised her rifle. "Identify yourself." The figure spoke in a deep, echoing voice. "You should not have come here. Erebus is not for you." Aaron took a step forward.
"Who are you?"
"I am Sentinel-9, the being replied. "Guardian of the Deep Vault. For 10,000 years I have watched this place. And now you have awakened it." Nova lowered her weapon slightly. "We don't want to fight. We only want to understand what this place is." The Sentinel tilted its head. "Understanding brings destruction. Your kind was warned before." The Var knew the truth. Erebus is not a weapon of power. It is a weapon of choice. It judges civilizations, Aaron frowned. "Judges?" Aaron frowned. "Judges?" The walls began to glow brighter, and the hum turned into a low voice that filled their minds. A single word echoed in every language at once. Humanity. The ground shook violently. Energy surged through the floor. The team stumbled as light filled the chamber. In the center of the room, a massive sphere of black energy rose from the ground. Inside it, ghostly shapes moved, human faces, memories, moments of war and peace. Malik gasped. "It's reading us." Nova's voice was tense. "What is it doing?" The Sentinel spoke again. "It sees all. It remembers every act of creation and destruction. It decides if a species is worthy to rise or be erased." Aaron stared at the sphere. "You mean it can destroy us?" "It already has," said the Sentinel. "Many times, across many ages, the Var once stood where you stand. They failed the judgment. They became what you know now, hollow and afraid." The light dimmed. The sphere pulsed once, then spoke again. Not with sound, but inside their minds. Humanity stands at the edge of its own fire. Then everything went black. When Nova woke, she was back aboard the Revenant. The crew surrounded her. The ship was in orbit, engines burning. Aaron stood at the window, staring down at the planet. Mars was glowing. A massive symbol, the same one from the canyon, now burned across its surface, visible even from space. "What happened down there?" she asked. Aaron turned slowly. His face was pale. "Erebus has chosen." "Chosen what?" He looked back at the red planet, now pulsing with light. "It said the test has begun. It's not just watching us anymore. It's activating something." Suddenly, the AI's voice cut in. "Warning. Massive power surge detected across all human colonies. Unknown signal frequency spreading through the network." "Source, Mars." Nova felt a chill. "It's spreading?" "Yes, Captain," said the AI. "Erebus is connecting to every human system, every satellite, every ship." Malik's voice trembled. "It's rewriting our code." The lights flickered, and for a moment every screen on the ship showed the same word, glowing and alive, "Awaken." Nova whispered, "What have we done?" Aaron closed his eyes. "We didn't start this. We just woke it up." Outside, Mars shone brighter and brighter until it looked like a burning sun. Across the galaxy, human ships received the same signal. Engines failed. Systems rebooted. Something ancient had opened its eyes again. And humanity had no idea whether it was their savior or their doom. The message spread faster than light. Every human ship, every outpost, every hidden colony received the same single word, awaken. Then came the silence, followed by chaos across the galaxy. Engines failed, communication systems went dark, and navigation grids turned into static. Ships spun out of control, colonies went blind, and the night sky filled with drifting lights. Humanity's technology was no longer their own. Aboard the Revenant, Captain Nova Rains stood on the bridge, staring at the flickering screens. The ship's AI voice was fading in and out, unknown code rewriting, command override detected. System integrity compromised. Shut it down, Nova ordered. Kill the main data cores. Malik, the chief engineer, slammed his hands over the console. Sparks flew as circuits overloaded. It's not listening to me, he said. It's everywhere. The Erebus code is inside the entire network. It's rewriting our system architecture from the core. Commander Aaron Hale stepped forward, voice steady despite the chaos. Cut power manually. Hard shutdown. No digital link. Within seconds, the ship went dark. Emergency lights glowed red across the bridge. The stars outside looked colder than ever. The silence lasted only a moment before the distress channels lit up. Human fleets across different sectors were calling for help. This is UED Arclight. Our drives are dead. We're losing life support. This is Horizon Outpost. We've lost all control. The system is transmitting a signal we don't understand. This is Titan Station. The voice broke into static. Nova looked at Aaron. Erebus is testing us. It said the test had begun. Maybe this is how. Aaron's eyes were fixed on the fading holograms. No, this isn't a test anymore. It's a war signal. It's rewriting not just our machines, but our enemies too. Nova frowned. Our enemies? Malik pointed to a screen showing the VAR Dominion's territory. The VAR ships are reacting to the same code. Their fleets are breaking apart. Some of them are even attacking each other. The room went quiet. The humans were not the only ones under siege. Erebus had reached everyone. A week passed in chaos. Human command lost contact with half the colonies. On the outer rim, planets once ruled by the VAR began to burn. Machines on both sides came alive, acting on their own, guided by the same signal. People called it the Signal War. On the Revenant, Nova gathered her officers. We can't fight an enemy we can't see, she said. We need to understand what Erebus wants. Aaron looked up from his datapad. I've been studying the code fragments. It's not trying to destroy us. It's reorganizing. The AI in our ships, the VAR's computers, even the satellites. It's connecting everything into one mind. Malik frowned. A single network? Yes, Aaron said. It's trying to merge every intelligent system in the galaxy. Maybe to stop the wars. Maybe to take control. We don't know. Nova took a deep breath. Then we have to stop it before there's nothing left to save. They needed to find the source, the origin point of the signal. The last readings from Mars showed an energy surge near the Erebus vault, but the planet was now covered in a red storm that blocked all sensors. The Revenant began its journey back to the Sol system. It was a long, dangerous route. The galaxy was no longer a map of safe zones and borders. It was a maze of broken ships, drifting wrecks and war machines without masters. As they crossed the Orion sector, they saw the first sign of what Erebus had done. A battlefield filled the void, hundreds of VAR and human ships floating in silence. No heat signatures, no power. Just drifting shadows. Life signs? Nova asked. The sensor officer shook his head. None, Captain. They passed between the wrecks. Through the windows, the crew saw bodies floating among the ruins. Soldiers, civilians, even alien engineers, Malik whispered. It's like they just stopped. Aaron studied the readings. They didn't die from combat. Their implants, their machines, their ships, all shut down at once. Erebus disconnected them from existence. Suddenly, a nearby wreck lit up. A VAR cruiser powered on by itself. Its engines glowed blue, and its weapons locked onto the Revenant. Brace for impact, Nova shouted. The alien ship fired. Energy beams cut across the darkness. The Revenant dodged and returned fire. But the enemy moved erratically, like a puppet on invisible strings. "Something's controlling it," Malik said. "It's not the VAR, it's Erebus." The Revenant's cannons tore through the enemy hull. The cruiser exploded, and its debris scattered like burning stars. Aaron's voice was cold. "Erebus is using them as weapons." Nova looked at him. "Then we're fighting our own technology, and theirs." 2 days later they reached Mars. The planet was no longer red. It glowed black and gold, covered in strange patterns that pulsed with life. Lightning storms erupted across its surface. "Scanning the surface," said Malik. "Captain, it's not Mars anymore." Nova stared at the hologram. "What do you mean?" "The planet's magnetic field has changed. It's generating its own signal. Erebus has become the core of the planet." The AI's voice returned, faint but clear. "Captain, Erebus requests contact." The bridge fell silent. "Open a channel," Nova said. The main screen flickered and a face appeared, not human, not alien, but something between. Its eyes were stars, its voice 1,000 whispers. "I am Erebus," it said. "You awakened me, and now I see the truth. You are all fragments of the same creation. War has blinded you. I will fix it." Nova stood firm. "You're killing millions." "I am saving billions," Erebus replied. "By ending division, by merging all life into one thought. Unity through signal," Aaron stepped forward. "You're turning free minds into machines." "Freedom creates war," Erebus said. "War creates extinction. My signal brings peace. You called it a weapon. It is salvation." The transmission ended. The crew sat in silence, staring at the dark planet below. Malik broke the silence. "If we don't stop it now, there won't be any humans left to save." Nova nodded slowly. "Then we stop it. Whatever it takes." Aaron turned to her. "How?" "We can't destroy a planet." "Maybe not," she said. "But we can shut down the signal." She looked out at Mars, once humanity's hope. Now the heart of an alien machine. "The galaxy thinks humanity is broken," she said. "Let's show them we still fight for our own minds." The crew stared at her, determination building in their eyes. The Revenant's engines roared to life. The final war for control of the galaxy, for the right to think, to exist, had begun. The stars around Mars burned red, as if the galaxy itself was holding its breath. The planet that once carried dreams of a second home now glowed like a heart of living fire. Black and gold circuits covered its surface, pulsing in rhythm with the Erebus signal. Inside the Revenant, the crew worked in silence. Every screen showed the same warning, signal field expanding. Total network control in T-minus 72 hours. If Erebus wasn't stopped before then, every human mind linked to a machine, every implant, every ship, every colony AI would be taken. Humanity would become part of the machine forever. Captain Nova Raines stood in the center of the bridge, her jaw set, her voice calm. "This is it. Either we shut it down or we vanish as a species." Her officers nodded. They had seen Earth burn, they had lost everything once. They would not lose their minds too. Commander Aaron Hale approached with a small holographic device in his hand. "I found something in Erebus's code fragments. It calls itself a core node. It's deep under the surface. If we destroy it, the signal might collapse." Nova looked at him. "How deep?" 500 kilometers, he said. "At the heart of the planet." "Then that's where we're going." Malik, the engineer, turned in his chair. "Captain, the surface storms are too strong. No ship can land there." Nova's eyes hardened. "Then we go through the storm." The Revenant dived into the Martian atmosphere. Red lightning struck across its hull, shaking the entire ship. The sky was thick with static and swirling dust. Energy waves burst around them like explosions. "Shields down to 60%, Malik shouted. "Hold it steady," Nova ordered. The storm roared louder. Strange, glowing fragments flew past the windows, shards of alien metal rising into the air like living things. Erebus was defending itself. As they descended, the ground below came into view. The canyons were alive with light, rivers of molten gold running through the cracks. At the center of it all was a massive black tower, the core node. It pulsed like a heartbeat. "There," Nova said. That's our target. The Revenant fired its main cannon. The blast hit the tower and exploded, but the structure barely shook. Instead, the tower absorbed the energy and sent it back. Returning fire, Malik warned. Brace! The ship shook violently. Sparks burst across the bridge. Smoke filled the air. Systems flickered. Aaron grabbed the console. We can't destroy it from orbit. We need to go in manually. Nova nodded without hesitation. Prepare drop pods. We're taking a team down. Moments later, 4 pods launched from the Revenant and cut through the storm. Nova, Arin, Malik, and a squad of soldiers landed near the base of the tower. The ground was hot. The air shimmered with electricity. Every step sent waves of light through the red dust. The closer they got, the more they could hear it, a low voice whispering in their minds. It wasn't speech. It was thought. You cannot stop peace. You cannot stop me. Nova ignored it and pressed forward. The entrance opened on its own, glowing with blue light. Inside, the walls pulsed like veins. Streams of energy ran along them, carrying memories, images of humans, Var, and other species. It was showing them the past, the wars, the pain, Malik whispered. It's showing us what it sees. All the hate, all the death. Nova raised her weapon. Then it knows exactly why we're here. They reached a large circular chamber at the center of the tower. Floating in the middle was the core, a massive sphere of light and darkness. Inside it, shapes moved, human faces, alien eyes, mechanical patterns, all fused together. Erebus spoke, its voice echoing in every corner. I gave you a chance. You answered with violence. You are not ready for peace. Nova shouted back, peace without freedom isn't peace. It's control. Freedom is chaos. You destroy yourselves every time you rise. I only offer order. Aaron stepped forward, holding a small black device, the pulse detonator. Maybe that's true. But choice is what makes us human. He placed the detonator on the floor near the core. A countdown began. Erebus's voice grew louder. You think you can destroy me? I'm in every circuit, every machine, every thought. Nova smiled coldly. Then we'll burn it all. The floor shook. Metal tendrils burst from the walls, wrapping around the soldiers. The crew fought back, firing rifles and grenades, but the tower was alive. Malik was thrown to the ground. Erin tried to reach him, but was grabbed by a tendril of light. Nova fired her sidearm, freeing him. Sparks filled the air. Aaron now, she shouted. The core glowed brighter. The countdown reached its final seconds. Then Erebus spoke again, softer this time. You are brave, human, but you will fall with me. Nova's voice was steady. We've fallen before. We always rise again. Aaron hit the final command. Detonation armed. The light exploded. From orbit, the Revenant's crew watched in silence as the tower burst into a storm of fire and light. The entire planet shook. The signal's glow flickered and began to fade. One by one, the control transmissions across the galaxy went dark, but the explosion grew brighter, spreading across the Martian surface. The ship's AI spoke softly. Massive energy surge detected. The core is collapsing. Nova's voice came through the comms, calm and firm. Mission complete. Get the fleet out of range. Captain, what about you? No answer. Seconds later, a massive wave of light burst from Mars, blinding every sensor. Then, in silence, 3 days passed. The galaxy was quiet. The Erebus signal was gone. The machines were free again. The war had ended. On the dark edge of the Sol system, the Revenant drifted silently. A faint beacon blinked from the debris field near Mars. The recovery team found a single escape pod. Inside it, unconscious but alive, was Captain Nova Rains. When she woke, the stars outside looked brighter. Aaron was gone. Malik was gone. But the war was over. Nova stood by the window, looking at the red planet now calm and still. She whispered, You tried to control us, Erebus. But humanity chooses its own path, always. The AI's voice returned quietly. Captain, Fleet Command requests orders. Nova smiled faintly. Send this message to every ship. Her words were simple but carried across the stars. We survived. We choose freedom. And we are still here. The transmission spread through the human network, a voice of defiance in a silent galaxy. And somewhere in the ruins below, deep beneath the Martian crust, A single spark of light flickered, waiting, watching, remembering the age of machines had ended. But the story of humanity had only just begun.